Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Sam in the Morning with Kelsey, only on LA Talk Radio.
Good morning, and yes, indeed, you're listening to us this morning. Today's Thursday, February 25th. Hi, Kelsey.
Hey.
We have beautiful weather outside. Of course, we have no such thing as winter here.
I know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so much for the winter for us, so much for El Nino that they predicted with days of heavy rains and everything.
I know.
No, it just seems to be something hovering over LA that's pushing the weather away.
Yeah.
You know, it's keeping it from coming here. I don't know. I'm starting to believe that.
Divine intervention.
There you go. California is doomed for drought. You know, what can you do?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we have a special guest in the studio, and we'll get to her in just a moment. Anything new, Kelsey, to report? Anything you do?
Yeah, be good.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to our guest right now, who's sitting here patiently, hopefully interested in what we have to say.
Yes.
We have Simone Emmons in the studio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
Yes, and we met here at the station a couple weeks ago. She was on another show.
Okay.
And she does interesting things. You originally from where?
I'm
Simone?
originally from West Berlin, Germany. So
Really?
I grew up there when the wall was still up.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, what an
and I've been
experience,
here
huh?
now 28 years.
Oh, really? So you've been here a while.
I've
When
been
did you
here.
leave? Like after the wall fell, pretty much?
No, before already.
Before?
I had
That was
met
89,
a soldier
right?
in Germany.
Oh, really? What, an American soldier?
Exactly.
Wow.
Somebody from Los Angeles.
Really? And you followed him?
I did, because he always wanted to be a policeman, and he could only do that here. So.
Oh, wow. Well, good
Yes.
for you. I mean, many times women move because, well, men do, too.
I was happy,
They move
too.
before somebody else. Yeah.
Actually, he was saying, if you marry me, you never need to see the snow again. And I said,
That's
I'm
true.
coming.
Yeah. The hell with Berlin.
Right? Oh my gosh, no thank you. Good choice.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in West Germany? I mean, you guys didn't really feel,
Right.
it's not like the East side. I mean, it was
Exactly.
split, but you guys were the West.
Yeah, even though we had the wall around, it just never felt like I was in a prison or anything like this. We had the freedom. So it was
Right.
the East, the people from the East, they felt, probably they couldn't go anywhere and they felt restricted, but
Right.
we never felt restricted. But whenever I had to travel out of Berlin,
Right.
we always had to have our passport there
Yeah.
with us, and in order to drive through the East.
Right.
Because that's how
Because
it
it's
was.
sort of like Berlin is sort of an island within what was the Soviet-controlled area, right?
Well, the four militaries were there.
Right,
The
okay, so-
Russians, the British, the
The
American,
Americans
and the French. Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Yes. So I always used to
What a
meet
mess.
French military man or
Yeah.
American or British. We had them all over there at that time.
Wow. So how did you meet the guy?
Dancing.
Really? So he
Yes.
was like off.
Well, all
out
the
in
soldiers,
city?
they used to go out all the time, right, on
Uh-huh.
the weekend. And then, Berlin is just such a big city.
Yeah.
You meet them everywhere. And I actually loved it.
Yeah.
I met sometimes some French soldiers, and I learned French.
Oh,
And-
fun.
yes, and I remember even when I met my husband and some of the others, even though we learn English in Germany, I always had a dictionary with me.
Yeah.
Because if I couldn't communicate myself, I said, okay, wait a minute, let me look for the word.
Right. But at least you were trying, you know.
I was trying,
Some people won't even try to learn a language,
I,
you know.
I was challenged by that, and I liked it.
Yeah?
Mhm. Yes.
You probably knew English before that, though,
Like
right?
I said, yeah, we
From
learn it in
music,
school. No, we learn
school
it actually
too.
in school. It's a
Right.
requirement. We
What,
have to
what
learn
grade do you have to start?
Actually, very young, at sixth grade.
Yeah, sixth grade. That's
Mm-hmm.
about what it's like in Israel. Fifth, sixth grade, we had to start learning English, yeah. So that's good. So you knew
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes, but when I got out of school, there were like 2 years that I didn't have it anymore.
Right.
So in those 2 years, if you don't use it,
You forget.
right, you
Oh,
forget.
you lose
Yeah.
it,
And that's exactly what happened. And
Yeah.
that's why I needed my dictionary.
Right.
And then also, when you learn it in school and you really don't have anybody to communicate with,
Right. It's different.
you're not great at it.
Right.
You just know words,
Right.
and maybe sentences, but it's not perfect.
Right.
Right.
No, it's far from perfect, and then you have to work on your accent. I mean, you see me 50 years later, 40 years later,
I still
an
have my accent too.
Yeah,
right?
I know. So it usually depends on what age you start speaking the foreign language. When people, I think the cutoff is around the age of 12 or something. If you start a new language at the age of 12, like people that would come from your country, my country, at the age of 12, they probably sound like they're American.
Yeah.
But after that, it's sort of like, I mean, it's
That's
a
really
generalization.
interesting, yes.
Yeah, I mean, some people come here older and they speak perfectly, But what I'm happy about is my English is more than perfect. It's just that, okay, so I sound foreign, But then I was thinking, but people that come from other English-speaking countries with an accent, they also get bothered all the time. Where are you from? Where are you from?
Right.
So every accent is going to solicit
people
that
like
kind of response.
accents.
Yeah, they do. But I think the people that have them don't, right? I mean, do you like that
Right.
you have an accent?
I've always had kind of like a hiccup about it.
Right.
I've always wanted to perfect
Because you want to
it,
blend in,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
You don't
I
want
first
people to
came
ask you
here-
where
yes,
you're from.
And also English-wise, I remember when I first came here, I told everybody, please correct me if I'm saying something wrong, because
Yeah.
if I don't know, and
Exactly.
I'm learning the wrong way.
So correct me, exactly. Yeah, and don't take it as an offense.
Right, I didn't.
Yeah.
I wanted to be corrected because I wanted to consciously work
Right.
on becoming perfect.
Right. And you're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah.
I know that
Still have a
for
little-
me.
I still have a few things here and there. Like sometimes I say things, and then I think later on, I wish I
why
would have
did I
said
say
it a
it that
different way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then again, people don't really care. It's just us that see that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And besides, it's also more important, I think, to understand than to actually speak, because you want to know what's going on around you. So I think that comes first, understanding before talking.
Yes.
So, but regardless, yeah. And for me also, my English was actually pretty good when I came here at 16 because I had, I'd had about 7 years about 7 years maybe of English or something. And no, not 7 years, more like 4. But I also would read like Mad Magazine. I would learn the slang and stuff. That was really cool.
Oh my
And
gosh.
of course, American music and movies and things like that, And that's what appeals to a lot of people. I think that's why a lot of people, they grow up on this culture and they're like, I gotta go to America. This is beautiful,
Yeah.
So that's what happens, and people come here in droves, and it's a great thing, I mean, as long as people can do so legally and blend in, that's what you want to do, is blend in. And some people come here and they do the exact opposite, they keep themselves walled off from everybody else, and they don't assimilate, and then you have problems, So they feel like outsiders all the time. Yeah. So you followed your husband or your
Ex-husband,
yeah,
because I'm
or your
divorced.
future husband. He was future husband at the time.
Yes.
Right. So you get married here, right?
No, I was actually married in Columbus, Georgia, because he got stationed then over there.
Oh,
Georgia.
okay.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But in the United
A
States,
little military
nevertheless.
town, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cool. And how long were you married for?
5 years.
5 years? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, and then you decide you're going to go off on your own, right?
Well, and had no other choice, right?
Yeah, right?
It was hard at first, let me tell you, because,
Yeah.
as a single woman, and I was very young, I was age 25.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah,
When you were
I
divorced?
came here young at 20.
Wait,
So
when
you
you
got
were
married at 20.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and then I felt a little bit alone and left alone, and I didn't know anybody. And that's usually,
Wow.
I think, that happens to a lot of people who come here from other countries. They follow maybe a man,
Right.
And then when they do get divorced, and they dedicate themselves to the husband, right?
Right.
And then they feel later on alone, and they don't know what to do or how to do.
Right.
And that was a challenge for me, because I was like, wow, I really have to get out there and make friends. And I didn't know how to do it, and I pushed myself.
Wow.
I actually took dancing lessons, so that's...
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I went out there.
So you can connect with guys and stuff? Or?
Well, no, just a social circle.
Oh, so you can make friends and
Yeah,
things
so
like
I can
that.
make friends. My hobby was salsa dancing.
Oh, how fun. Is your whole family back in Germany?
Everybody's in Germany. Yes,
Oh.
my brothers, my mother, my father.
Right. But you found your home here,
Oh,
obviously.
yes. Like I said, I mean, I really love the weather here.
Uh-huh.
That's it makes me happy.
Yeah,
And, Germany is kind of cloudy all the time and,
Yeah,
and cold and
cold, I know.
It's not for me.
No, huh?
You know,
And it's funny because people grow up in that, but they don't get used to it, right?
I
They
got
say,
used to it, but I hate it every
Right.
season.
Really?
Like come October when it starts getting cold and rainy and
Yeah. How cold does it get in Berlin? Like below zero?
oh yes,
A lot,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, and then even in the summertime,
Yeah.
you have maybe a few days really nice and warm and the sun comes out, but then it gets cloudy again.
Oh, wow.
And that's how we see. I think they can kind of compare it to Portland, because
Yeah.
Portland is a little bit like that too.
Right.
So
Wow.
I like Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine just growing up, hardly ever seeing the sun, you know? It's got to be like
Right.
depressing as hell.
And,
right?
and I think that's kind of what a lot of people, it affects them mentally.
Right.
And I think that's what it did to me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, here in Los Angeles, when the sun is out all the time, I feel like I'm always happy.
Yeah.
But hey,
Good
your
for you.
skin looks great.
Thank you.
So that is a
Well,
good.
because in a way I stay out of the sun because you see how pale I am.
I'm so pale too.
Yes, you are, but
I'm on the fast track to have good skin.
I can fix that.
Yeah, you see, and that's why she's here. She's going to tell us a little bit about what she does.
I'm the perfect candidate. I actually
Yes.
should be your before and after model because I am like white.
Yes, yes. I look when you first came in. I saw you. I was like, great
Yeah,
candidate.
she's the king candidate. So tell us what it is that you do, Simone.
I do airbrush tanning.
Airbrush tanning. Tell us what
Fake
that is.
tanning.
Fake tan.
Yes. So basically, you know about self-tanning creams, correct?
Right,
And that's
right.
been on the market since 1960. And so, you know, people or companies were trying to find other ways on how to apply it.
Uh-huh.
And years ago, I think they started originally with like the single action or dual action airbrush, which you can also apply makeup with.
Right.
And that's kind of how it started. But then I don't know who came up with it. But later on, they learned how to use the spray guns.
Right.
And the spray guns you usually use in the painting industry.
Yeah.
So whoever came out did a great job because what's the great part about the spray guns is it has a lot of pressure. And then also, you know, the self-tanning creams they made in liquid version, basically based on water first, and then they put this magic ingredient in there, which is dihydroxyacetone. That's the part that makes you tanned.
I see.
So, yes, they made it in liquid version so that we would either be able to use the dual action airbrush or the HVLP spray guns. Now, I use the spray guns because it's a perfect application. When you spray a body with that, it looks perfect.
Really? So I imagine it's a lot like painting, you know? I mean, you got to make an even application of it and everything, right?
Yes, evenness is the most important thing, but that's where the gun helps you, but also not all guns are really that great.
Right.
And that's what the majority of the people usually don't know. And that's basically also what I teach. I have my own academy, Hollywood Airbrush Tanning Academy,
Wow.
where I teach everyone spray tanning, but not just spray tanning. Also, it's kind of like an entrepreneurial program.
Right.
Because I started my business a few years ago, or many years ago, and saw a need to teach, basically, because there was nobody out there teaching it. Even I myself, I taught myself. And it took me a few years to really become great with that tool, with the HVLP spray gun. And the reason is it took me a while because there was no training out there.
Right.
And I had to figure it out. So I needed a lot of models. I had a lot of friends, and they loved me at that time because I gave them all free spray tans.
Right.
And I was always trying to perfect it, right? Each time I was like asking everybody, okay, so what else is missing? What else is wrong? And, you know, and that's kind of how you learn.
Yeah.
And then I learned it, and then I said, oh, you know what? There's no training out there. And I foresee that one day everybody will be doing fake tanning.
Really?
Yes, because, you know, it saves our skin.
Right, that's true.
And you can see how nice my skin looks, right? Like, I don't go in the sun.
You don't go in the sun.
I used to when I was younger, right?
Right.
But then
Yeah.
I realized I did use tanning beds. And then also I realized, wow, I was trying to use tanning beds more and more and more, and I still didn't get darker.
Really?
Yeah, because
Wow,
it
you
has
just get like red or something, or what?
yeah, I kind of like just a slight tint, right?
Right.
And I was trying to force it, and I was trying to go more and more. And you know what? I noticed that I was getting wrinkles here.
Wow.
Actually, a boyfriend at that time told me that. He was saying, you know what? Look, you're already getting wrinkles.
Oh,
It was
that's
like
grounds
right here.
for a breakup.
No, no, you know what? I thank him today. You know why?
Excuse me. I feel like say it again, please.
No, actually, I thank him today. Maybe he'll listen to this because I'm still in contact with him. Because he told me, and
Oh my
because
God.
of that, I never even noticed, right?
Yeah.
And he told me that, and I was like, oh, wow, you're right. Because my wrinkles were coming out. Like, I don't even have the wrinkles now there today. It was like right here in
Wow.
the cheek area.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, you're right. And I like I said, I didn't notice. I think I had a tan addiction like many people have.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't see that.
But let me ask you this. Didn't you realize just by being in the sun that with your skin tone, you probably will not get tan?
No, you know what? There's no education, first of all, on skin types out there.
There's not, yeah.
There is
No, but
absolutely
what I mean
nothing.
is you go in the sun once, twice, you realize, hey, you know, I don't tan, I'm just red. Maybe my skin is not.
No,
gonna
I was
tan.
always thinking, oh, I need that magic cream, or I need
Wow.
to maybe try more, or I need to, you know, we don't know.
So
that.
you were obsessed with it.
Well, many young people are.
Really?
It's
Yes.
so true.
It
Really?
is.
With
when
their
I was
skin
in high
being
school,
light?
oh my gosh.
And I
Are you
understand it.
kidding?
You know why? Because when you're young, you want to look beautiful. You want to get compliments. You're growing.
Right.
You know, you want to fit in with the crowd, and that's normal. And I understand that.
Right.
And looking back, you know, I always wanted to get new clothes, the prettiest hair, the best makeup.
Right.
And then as you get older, you kind of all had it, and then you kind of fade out to become more natural. And
That's
Right.
so true.
and then you also know you have other things to offer besides your beauty.
Exactly,
Right?
and your skin color, you know, and but what I'm saying is that, you know, as opposed to what you might think, I find light skin sexy. I really do, and many people do.
A
you know,
lot of people do. And, you know, it's funny that you say that because when I was in high school, everybody was tanning. It was kind of the fad. And I went to, and I was the kind of person who had to go in the bed to actually see any results because
Really?
I'm so light skinned.
right?
So, I mean, I think it was like before prom 1 year or something, I was tanning. And I just went a couple times, and, you know, I didn't like the sweatiness, and I was like, ugh, so I didn't ever go again. But, yeah, I had friends who were addicted to it, and they would put the little sticker on them so that they could, you know, make a little pattern of the wet. I mean, it's just crazy. But, you know, now I'm so glad I didn't. And my agents are like, don't go in the sun, because it's kind of in now to have, like, she's not going to let me for saying this, but it's kind of in now to have, like, really light skin, dark hair, like that kind of thing people like. But
Right, but the California
Trends are
look,
changing. They go back and
They
forth.
go back and forth,
Yes.
yeah.
right? But the California look is definitely tan and everything else. So
Right.
people,
Oh, for
so,
sure.
So obviously, maybe in another town, it wouldn't have been as
No,
popular
actually,
as
no.
it is
It's
now, right?
it's very popular all
Everywhere.
over, everywhere.
Wow.
Uh-huh. I mean, I understand there are some countries that do accept or want or love white-skinned individuals, like Asian countries in general. Also,
Right.
They think why being white or pale-looking is like royalty. But here in America. Or even like in any other countries too, like Ireland or in England, it's really big too. Everybody loves to be tan,
Yeah.
and you know we look just healthier,
Right.
Sure,
and then
that's
also
true.
we just feel like we just lost 5 pounds when we are skinnier, and
Wow.
it just I always say it's the ultimate happy maker.
Yeah.
Because really, once you're tanned, you immediately feel like you just lost weight.
Really?
Yes, it's-
it is true.
it is true. I'm telling you because I see it every day, and I see the smiles. Like people come in serious, and when they leave after I spray tan them, then I can see
They're
the
happy.
big smile.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they look healthier, and
That's
I tell
true.
you that with me, they always say that too. When I'm pale, yes, they do give me compliments and all of that, but when I'm tanned, immediately my blue-green eyes come out
Yeah.
and everything. And then the people's like, wow, what did you do? And I'm like, I just tanned myself.
Do you do yourself?
Yes,
Oh
all the
my
time.
gosh.
Really?
I never need anybody again because like years ago, I remember I used to give my friends free spray tans, and in exchange for them tanning me. And I said, I just need a tan every week.
Yeah.
And then one time I remember I had an event, and nobody was available. And I was like, oh my God, I need a tan. I need to go out to this. And nobody wanted to come. And then I said, I was forced to basically try it on my own.
Right.
And I had the guts to do it. But it took me about 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and I felt really empowered. I was like, wow, I think I can do that all the time. I don't need anybody anymore.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And now from that point on, I never have asked anybody ever again.
Yeah. You seem to be a very independent person, right?
Well, I had to learn because coming from Germany, being here on my own, right?
Right.
It's like I had to learn to
survive.
to survive
Right.
and make a living here. And then, of course, I don't want to just survive. I want to be
thrive.
successful.
Yeah.
That was always my dream. You know, that's kind of how I've seen when I first originally came to America. What inspired me is that America is kind of like everything entrepreneurial. That's kind of how I see everything here.
Yeah, it's individualistic.
And then I see how much easier it is here in America and not in so many, like Germany. I don't think it's that easy. And I always used to subscribe to the Entrepreneur magazine and even like years back, I wanted to start so many different kind of businesses, but I could never find anything that I really liked. Or I maybe liked it at first. Like one time I was thinking the legal services business. But then I was like, but then I'm in the office all the time and with paperwork and you know, and I'm a people person too.
Right.
So I could never find something that was just like perfect.
Yeah.
And somehow I fell into the airbrush tanning and the bad economy actually in 2008. I had online businesses and that kind of fell too in the economy. And I needed to come up with another idea of what else could I do.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, she took me to Vegas. I remember she was saying, Simone, let's just relax. You need to relax and let's go get a massage and spray tan. I said, wow, I never had that.
Yeah.
And then I got my first spray tan there, and I was like, wow.
You were hooked.
Immediately.
Whoa.
Immediately. And, you know, that was kind of like because I was down, because of economy, everything I went through a breakup.
Oh, wow.
And so all of that, you know, like I got the spray tan, and it was instantly a happy maker.
Wow. Yeah.
Instantly. I remember.
See, there you go. I mean, so people should do this. Now, okay, so for those of you just joining us, we're talking to Simone Emmons. Am I pronouncing it correct?
Simone Emmons.
Okay. And so what's the name of your company?
Well, I have two. My local airbrush tanning business is Simone's Airbrush Tanning.
Okay.
And then I also own my training academy, which is Hollywood Airbrush Tanning Academy.
Oh, okay, cool. And is that the website too? Can people go and check out more?
Yes, either Simone'sAirBrushTanning.com or HollywoodAirBrushTanningAcademy.com.
Cool, and we'll put the links on our website too, so you guys can click easily on there. But so Simone does like spray tanning, obviously, improving people's self-esteem, self-confidence, and that's what you're telling us.
I kind of think like we are a cheap therapist.
Yeah, there you go. You know,
There you go.
A life coach. You all you have to do is paint yourself, and you're going to be more confident.
First of all, I know what everybody is going through because I was going through it, and I still go through it every time when I tan myself. I just feel happy.
Really?
Right? Yes.
Wonderful.
It is just an immediate confidence booster. Plus, it hides cellulite, blue veins.
Wow.
And it just gives you a glow. You look healthy. And that's what people will usually notice. Now, I don't overspray. I do more natural looking tan because I think that's more in. But I do have other people too, like models. You know, they come for a photo shoot or bodybuilders, and then they need to be made extremely dark.
Right.
Yeah, I have
right?
some friends in the bodybuilding business, and oh my
They
gosh,
need to be made this dark.
Get so dark.
Yeah.
Right.
So I see how this can come in very handy in many professions too, right? I mean, it's not just people doing it for fun, but obviously it can help them with their career too.
Totally. Well, here in LA, that's a great part. We have a lot of actors, singers, models, right? And that's why I like my area because it's kind of considered the entertainment area. Studio City, North Hollywood, right?
Sure, yeah.
Everybody from the whole entertainment industry is here. And yes, sometimes they need it for certain parts. Like sometimes I remember I had somebody calling me up, And he said, you know what? I have an audition in an hour and I need to look like a
Wow.
surfer.
Wow.
Yes. So I said, okay, come on in. I'm going to make you look like a surfer.
Whoa.
And it's great. And that's the nice part. But then maybe let's say next week he needs to go for another audition for
Right.
something else and he needs to be paler, right?
Right.
The great part about the fake tanning is that it washes off every day. So within a week, you're basically pale again.
Oh, wow.
So it's a maintenance. I mean, many people wish it would last forever,
Right.
or longer, right? Tans usually last between 7 and 10 days. So sometimes, people wish it would last longer, but a lot of
Right.
actors, they actually like that because if they need to be paler for a certain part, then
Right, it's
it
just
washes off.
temporary. It's almost
Exactly.
like makeup, Very
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Very cool. So now, so you make it look natural too, right? Unlike
Whatever
Donald
everybody
Trump.
likes. Yes.
Donald Trump, he looks terrible because he doesn't put it around his eyes. Or
No, I
something.
think what he does, he overdoes it because
Yeah.
he has very pale skin, right?
Oh,
when you have
okay.
pale skin, you cannot put it on top and on top and on top. Because I'm hoping he will listen to this one day.
Right. Because then it turns orange, right?
Exactly. When you
Yeah.
over process something, right?
Right.
It builds up and then you over process it and that turns orange.
Wow.
And that's why also like some of the spray tanners, they do not understand why sometimes people turn orange.
Right.
Well, over spraying turns people orange. So you really got to limit the spraying, how much solution you put on them.
Right.
And then also if you do it too frequently, that's over processing it. And that's why they turn orange.
Right.
He really Donald Trump needs to wait until it's faded out
Yeah.
or scrub it off. But, I understand he's probably in the public every day. And that's why he needs this. He wants that every day. Right?
he feels he needs it, but I think it makes him look stupid. I really do, It does, And I've noticed that a long time ago, but,
Yes.
because I think
there was just
mainly
an
'cause he
article
does-
yesterday that showed up in Google about this too. Somebody was giving himself tanning tip
Really?
advice. Yes, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, but no. So how do you encounter that problem that he has? He doesn't have it around his eyes, and that's how it's easily noticeable. How do you do it, like around the eyes and everything, and the eyelids? Do you?
Well, we spray. I do whatever the client wants and likes. Now, I do offer, and the FDA does recommend that we need to protect the eyes. We do
sure.
need to protect the mucous membranes. Like we give them nose filters for the nose, chapstick
Okay.
for the lips. I give cotton for the ears. Right, like I protect all those internal organs.
Right.
And the eyes in general, we do have these like they have in tanning salons too. They're
Sure.
called winkies. And we offer that to every client, but most clients decline it.
Really?
I would say yes, because they don't want the circles around.
Right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Donald is doing the self tanning cream, or he has a spray tanner. I honestly don't know.
Right, but it's obviously
also,
not a good
he's
job.
getting a little bit older, and
Yeah.
he has the little bags under there.
Right.
So his skin is very pale.
Oh, okay.
And when you rub a lot, I don't know. I don't know
I think
what
it's
he does.
pinkish. You can tell by his eyes; he's like pinkish color. So maybe he doesn't like that.
Yeah, and some people suffer with dark under eyes,
Yeah.
or
That's
and
true.
and his issue is probably he's very pale skin,
Right.
Like me, you can see, and very pale skin. Even when we spray tan them, they will not turn very dark.
Oh, okay.
And that's the a lot of people don't understand skin types, right? Like
Right.
I'm a skin type 1, so I have not much melanin in me. And in general, the melanin would come out when you spray tan them. So with many other people, the majority of the skin types
is
are
that your
type
phone?
3. I turned it on vibration. Right?
Oh, no, it sounded like something vibrated, but I
Yes.
don't know what it was. Anyway, never mind. Go on.
Yeah, so with skin type 1s, they can usually not tan very well. And even when we do spray tanning, they are just lightly tanned. They can never get really dark.
Okay.
And
so
I think
people need
that's
to understand that. You tell them ahead of time.
We try to explain it to them so that they don't have false expectations. Because
Right.
that's sometimes, I don't have that frequently, but a lot of skin types, the very fair skin types, they say, I want to be extremely dark like this person.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, you can't really with just one spray tan. And that's why also with bodybuilders, sometimes we have to spray them 2 or 3 days in a row,
Right.
depending on their skin type. Right, in order to get them dark to a certain level.
Right.
And then so self-tanning does not necessarily always work, but bronzers would work. But you have to spray it on like right before.
I see.
I don't think Donald Trump does it like right before spraying with a bronzer, because that kind of looks weird too.
Yeah.
If he would do that, and then it could smear, and it's a challenging process for the very fair-skinned individuals.
So
Right.
what skin type are we? Can you tell just by looking? Or?
Well, I can ask you. No, not by just
Oh.
looking, and that's the biggest mistake too that a lot of people do. In general, I could tell, but I usually ask you certain questions. Like, for example, I would ask you, how do you tan in the natural sun? And do you burn first and then you tan, or you never tan?
Well, I don't ever go in the sun.
Do you
but
remember as a child?
As a child, yeah, as a child, I mean, I would usually just burn.
And you
And
never
it would
had
go right back to white.
Immediately, like? Okay.
After a couple of days of
So
burn.
you've never had a slight tint of a tan?
Only if I go in the tanning bed.
And right, and no matter how much you tried, it
I mean, if I
plateaued
laid out
a
like every day, yeah.
did it
but,
plateau out at a certain level, or you actually did get a dark tan when you tried hard?
it would go pretty dark, but I mean, I never would go like every day. So
Yeah,
it
then you're
wasn't-
skin type 3.
Oh,
A
okay.
skin type 3 basically burns at first, but then after the burn, you actually can tan, because that's telling me you have melanin in your skin that would actually come out, right? Like the sun would bring it out,
Right.
and the self-tanning cream would bring that out too.
Oh,
For me,
okay.
it was you look like you already have a slight tint to you.
Yeah, because
and you
I'm
have
from a darker background. and stuff.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So,
so
in
for me, I
general-
tan. Yeah, I
Right.
tan.
In general, you would look amazing with a spray tan. Like you had just
Really?
came back from a beach. Yes.
Really? Well,
you should
I'm
come to
coming.
visit me.
Yeah, I'm doing that
You'll
for
see.
sure.
But also, Kelsey, you would look great too, because, like I said, that the melanin would just come out, and then it tans you, and you look great. You'll
Yeah.
see, amazing. And I bet you nobody would ever be able to tell that you have a fake tan on.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
No, never.
So for those of you just joining us, we're talking about fake tans, and you're probably wondering what the hell. But obviously, we have Simone Emmons in the studio. She's the founder of Simone's Airbrush Tanning. And you can go to Simone'sAirBrushTanning.com, and you also have the Academy. Now, what can people expect when they come to you and learn about this?
So I developed an entrepreneurial program, basically. It's not just spray tanning. What I wanted to do is teach other people how to have an airbrush tanning, like a business like me. And, you know, when I first started with it, I had a big vision from the beginning on.
Good.
Because, like I said, I saw that there was a need out there for training. You know, there are beauty academies out there where you can learn how to cut hair, how to become an esthetician, but there was absolutely nothing out there with airbrush tanning.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I saw the trend, how tanning beds are bad. There are more and more rules and regulations being put in. Even in Australia, they already banned tanning beds, right?
Oh my gosh,
So the
I did not
business
know
is
that.
closed
Wow.
down. Yes. And so
That's interesting.
I foresee that. I don't know for sure, but maybe you never know how it happens here down the road in USA. So I saw a big need of teaching it. So I launched it in 2008. And the program is also, I'm teaching them how to have the whole business. I'm teaching them what apps I'm using, how I'm marketing myself, how I do everything in the business. And I invite everyone actually to come into my business and learn from me.
Wow.
So I talk about all the different solutions on the market. I talk about where they can buy everything directly. And I don't sell anything.
Right.
I just give the education.
Wow.
I give the education about the skin types, how you determine somebody's skin type. I teach them about how a skin type would react.
Yeah.
And they're learning all of that. And plus the hands-on part with the models.
Right.
Like we take even the before and after pictures that I hand over to them, so then they can start with their own portfolio and start marketing immediately. And then I hold their hand for another 2-3 months, because I know that's what usually beginners need.
Right.
When they leave the training program, then they go on their own and start doing it, and then they're learning on their own, and they may have certain issues that happen, and they always have somebody to reach out to, like myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have already people flying in really from all over the world to train with me. So I had students from Canada, even South Korea.
Oh my gosh.
Right now I'm teaching somebody online. Like after our interview here, I'm going back and I have a video conference with my student from Morocco.
Wow.
So Morocco wants to bring airbrush tanning over there as well, because they got inspired by the Kardashians.
Oh my gosh.
So they want to bring everything there, but she can't fly over here. So I even have an online training program. So I created also a membership website that has hours and hours and hours of videos that I documented basically in all these years. Yes.
Wow.
And even how to do a mobile tan in somebody's home.
Oh, wow.
And that's the other big trend, right? Because you don't just start with a tanning salon right away. You start doing this mobile because you're saving your biggest expense, which is the rent, right? And you know how expensive rent is here in LA.
Right.
Not maybe in some other cities, but in LA it is just very expensive.
Right. And besides, some people probably prefer it for you to come to
They
them if
actually
they're
love it.
celebrities or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
Unless
And
you
that's
live
the-
in the salon.
Right. No.
Some people do, right?
Yes,
Oh, I hope not. No.
that's hilarious.
Yes. No, and that's the biggest trend right now is the mobile, bring the spray tents to the home. And we have the pop-up tent, right? So people stand in there, and then we spray them within the tent, within the confined area, and nothing goes on their furniture. They don't inhale anything. And that's actually the unique part about my technique that I came up with. Is I'm teaching a technique in spray tanning where it's a spray release technique, where there's not much overspray around.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
that's what people are so surprised about. They'd say, like, wow, I don't see anything, I don't smell anything. Because everything I spray onto the body and I release immediately.
Right. So there's
And
not much left over.
There's not
Right.
much left over, and that's
Right.
very difficult to learn, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you need to come for training.
Okay.
And then also the good part is that the client is immediately dry, and that's what a lot of people go like, oh my God, I don't feel sticky. And then also I don't smell, and they can
nice.
go about their day immediately.
Yeah.
And you know, nobody will know that you have a fake tan,
Yeah.
and you're dry. There's nothing that rubs off on a couch or, you know.
Right, that's great, you
And
know,
that's the
because
great part.
that's been like my reason for not trying this, is because I thought it's going to smear all over,
No.
it's
Right.
going to look fake, blah, blah, blah.
With
but-
I
some
know.
spray tanners, yes. But this is exactly why. That's the unique part about my technique, that I teach them step by step. And you actually have to process and train their brain first. You know, it's also kind of like I train them a certain routine and I drill it into them. It's kind of like when you're driving with a car, right? Later on, automatically, you know, on red you stop, on green you're driving. You can handle phone calls while you're driving, but automatically your subconscious mind knows how to drive around while you're
That's
talking.
true. That's
That's
true.
what we are doing. Also, we are drilling a certain technique into their head.
Right.
And that's why me having all the videos in the video membership site is so helpful, because they can always go back to it and try and watch it again and again and again, and it goes into their subconscious mind.
Sounds good. So those videos are part of the training, right? You're going to give
yes,
them
I have an
access to it.
online membership website that all my students have access to. Yes.
Okay,
and
good.
they go in there again and again. So there's a video about how to fold the tent, how to clean the gun, the technique.
Oh, wow.
Sounds
Just
great.
even how to do a mobile tan. I have one specific video where I went to somebody's house to do a mobile tan.
Oh, okay, cool. So you guys can see if you're unemployed mainly and you want to find a new business to do, you know, you go to Simone and she'll get you going. It sounds like, you know, a very cool business, you know. I mean, and you probably get a lot of demand for it. Like I said, in LA,
all over the
or
world.
Places where there's not a
Right
lot
now,
of sun
I can't
and
even
stuff.
handle all the phone calls, and that's why I'm desperate to even train some of my other students to
Right.
become trainers. Now, I have one trainer already in Connecticut, so I have two locations. I have LA and Connecticut, so she's training, I'm training. And I'm hoping to inspire more individuals, more of my 300 plus students,
Right.
to become more trainers. But sometimes, you know, a lot of them, they worry first. First, they want to establish their own business.
Right.
Sure.
And then, you know, because they are a little bit afraid that they're training their competition
Right.
within their city,
Exactly, yeah.
which I understand too. And that's why I wait until they have enough business, and then later on they maybe want to become trainers.
Right. Very
So,
cool. Okay, well, we're just about out of time, Simone. Give everybody your websites, how they can get a hold of you. And so you have the two websites. Go ahead.
The training academy is Hollywood Airbrush Tanning Academy.com. But I have information also by going to Simone's AirBrushTanning.com.
Okay, great. So the Simone's one is if they want to get a
It's
tan
for the
from
local,
you.
local business.
Right. And the other one is for people that want to train and start their own business.
Yes, and it's very
Awesome.
affordable to start, basically.
Really? Cool.
It's one of the most affordable business out there. I can't believe that
Yeah.
I don't have millions of people
Yeah.
approaching me.
No, I was thinking about it because really you don't have to
There's not
invest a
overhead.
lot,
No,
right?
no,
yeah, if you
that's
do it
the-
mobile in the beginning,
Right.
you don't have to
No,
invest a lot.
and that's the great part
That's
about
amazing.
it. And it's the most popular beauty treatment on the market right now.
Wow.
Because it's very quick, very affordable, and people want that instant gratification, that immediately feeling happy, sexy, like losing weight and like all of that.
I need to feel happy and sexy, so I'm going to come to
I'll
you.
take it.
Wherever the next show we'll make, I'll invite you guys and we'll tan you.
Great.
And then you can talk about your experience and how you feel.
There you go. There you go. Simone, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're full of
I appreciate
information,
it.
a lot of fun, and we wish you much success with everything you do, really.
you very much.
I mean,
I
you seem to
appreciate
be
it.
on the right track, and you're taking advantage of the American way. You're succeeding on your own.
And I'm giving back. I
And
would
you
like
give
to
it back.
always give back to others as well.
There you go. Thanks again. Thank you, Kelsey.
Yeah.
As always, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
You're listening to Sam in the Morning with Kelsey, only on LA Talk Radio.